Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at DLC in Battlefield games. The reason I thought we'd take a look at this topic is because there's a bunch more content coming out for BF4 very soon, and as far as we know, it's all going to be free. By the way, as far as the upcoming spring patch for BF4 goes, well, I'm not going to cover this until at least the patch notes come out. With every update, there's always a flood of misinformation on YouTube, so I figure I'm not going to go into too much detail until everything is set in stone. But anyway, what we do know about the upcoming spring patch is that there's going to be new weapons and that Gunmaster mode will be returning. This is probably the most new content we've seen added to the game for free, and personally I think it's going to win a lot of players back. Insurgency has been doing this kind of thing for at least the last year or so, and I think that's a big part of the reason quite a few people still play that game. Unlike BF4, Insurgency doesn't have a massive budget or player base, and yet I'd say it's got a more solid reputation and a ton of loyal players. War Thunder is another example of a well-respected game which adds in a lot of new content that you don't have to pay for. That being said, it is a free-to-play game, but a lot of other free games like Hearthstone have started charging for DLC. New content is the reason franchises manage to survive for so long, and I think what free DLC has shown is that it survives longer than paid DLC. A good example of how paid DLC can fail is BF4 because half the player base doesn't have premium and you just can't keep DLC servers running anymore. So the question is, how do you make DLC better in Battlefield games? Well, releasing it for free would be a start, but at the end of the day this isn't always going to be possible. Premium is a good idea to reduce the cost of DLC overall, but I think if it was even cheaper it would encourage more people to buy it and increase the lifespan of the game. At the end of the day, the goal should be to have the vast majority of players running DLC content so that it actually stays active for more than just a few weeks. Also, I think free DLC throughout the life of a game would keep the player base loyal, and I think it would also encourage players to buy future games. Another issue I think is Day 1 DLC and promotional exclusive content like what you get when you buy a deluxe edition. Battlefield Hardline is a good example of this problem because it's suffering from a lack of content when ironically some of it is unavailable to a lot of players. Day 1 DLC is just a case of publishers trying to gouge more money out of players for a game they've already paid for. It's not like the devs needed more time to work on Day 1 DLC, and although it might make the publishers a little more money initially, it doesn't exactly impress the community. And that leads me to my last point, which is on bundle DLC, which I think is a good idea, except of course if you didn't buy the game in a bundle. Quite often you see premium edition games on sale, and yet DLC very rarely goes on sale, and even rarer still do you get a discount for owning the game already. Also, I think as far as Battlefield goes, premium should be cross-platform because it's really not worth paying for again. So many multi-plat games allow you to carry over your profile these days, and considering everything in Battlefield is linked to Battlelog, to me this just seems like a no-brainer. But anyway, all in all, I think the only way we're going to see more value for money is if we start raising this issue with devs and publishers. At the end of the day, their biggest concern is keeping us happy so that we buy future games, and that ultimately means making DLC worth it. Now, I'm not trying to say that premium hasn't been worth it in BF4, although I think a lot of people would argue that it wasn't. I just think that free DLC like the upcoming spring patch is a great reputation boost for the franchise, and I think we need to see a lot more of it. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, and as always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description below if you want to see more of my videos, or if you'd like to support my channel on Patreon, and until next time, see you later and have a good one.